It's August 15, 2015. My legs are shaking. I feel the butterflies in my stomach, and my palms are getting sweatier with every step I take. I turn on the lights of the conference room, sit down with my manager, and tell him, I'm very thankful for my 2 years working here at General Motors, but I am submitting my 2 weeks notice, and I'm going to pursue a career in real estate. That was 3 years ago. Today, I run a real estate team that sells around $20 million a year, and I own 12 rental properties, which fully cover my monthly living expenses. Technically, I am financially free at the age of 28, and some of you might say I have accomplished the American dream. But I have a confession to make. I am not American. I am one of the 11.7 million undocumented immigrants living in this country. I am one of the 800,000 dreamers protected under the DACA program. 19 years ago, my parents made a sacrifice to leave their home country of Peru to go in the search of the American dream. We came here when I was 9 years old, legally, but then we became undocumented immigrants when we overstayed our visas. Now I am what Congress calls a dreamer, a person who was brought here as a kid and is currently undocumented. I had no idea growing up undocumented would come with challenges, fears, and disappointments. When I was 16 years old, I went all excited to the DMV to get my driver's license. I gave them all the documents I thought were required, but they told me that without showing that I was legal, I couldn't get one. It was then that I knew my life would be different than my friends. I graduated third in my high school class and got into Florida State University. However, because of my undocumented status, I couldn't qualify for any student loans or financial aid. I won thousands of dollars in scholarships, but most were taken back because I was undocumented. I had enough money to pay for college for 1 year, but I had to figure out a way to pay the remaining years. So after volunteering at a nonprofit in the IT department, they decided to hire me. And I went through the application process. I get a call, and they say that due to my immigration status, I couldn't work. At the age of 19, I made the grim realization that not only can I not drive or get student loans, but now I can get a job anywhere. But I didn't let that stop me. I remember what my father told me, that the US is the land of opportunity, but it is up to us to find it. So after doing a lot of research, I found out that undocumented immigrants can create their own businesses. Isn't that interesting? Uncle Sam wouldn't let me pay taxes as an employee, but would happily let me pay taxes as a business owner. So I created my own company and began working as an IT contractor. One summer day in June, right in the middle of the year, I had set up an appointment with a small business in Tallahassee, Florida. The appointment was about 4 miles away from where I lived, and at that time, my bike was my only mode of transportation. So I put a suit and a towel in my backpack, and I ride my bike to the business. By the time I got to the building, I was drenched in sweat. I quickly parked my bike in the back of the building, dry off with my towel, change into my suit, and walk to the front of the building to meet my client. After a successful meeting, I quickly walked to the back of the building.
The library will close in 1 hour. Thank you.
I quickly walked to the back of the building, and I changed back into my sweaty gym clothes, and I ride my bike back home. This is what life is like when you are undocumented. You have to go above and beyond to achieve your dreams. Instead of seeing obstacles, I saw opportunities, and I decided that making excuses wasn't an option. And then, in June 2012, my senior year of college, I hear a speech from President Obama in which he announces the DACA program, or Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. This program will grant dreamers like me, who came under the age of 16, that graduated high school and have a clean criminal record, the opportunity to get a driver's license and a work permit. It also shielded us from deportation. I couldn't believe it. I was 22 years old at that time, and I was finally going to be able to do what all my friends were doing: driving and working. That new executive order was a game changer, and it came right on time as I began applying for jobs. One of the companies I applied for was General Motors, and they hired me right on the spot because of my experience and a recommendation of the dean. I told them that according to my attorney, I will be getting my documents in about 3 months, right as I was graduating. After the interview, I picked up the phone to call my parents to let them know that I will be moving to Austin, Texas, and will be working as a software developer. Let me tell you, that was one of the best calls I have ever made. I made them proud, and I was finally making progress on my American dream. On December 14th, 2012, I graduated from Florida State University in the top 1% of my graduating class with 2 bachelor's degrees in less than 4 years and with 0 student debt. I became the first person in my family to graduate college. But then, I faced another obstacle. December was ending, and I am still waiting for my paperwork from immigration. I'm supposed to move to Austin in a couple of weeks, and I have nothing. I'm confused, frustrated, anxious. I remember thinking, how am I going to move to Austin where I don't know anybody, I can't drive, and don't even have a guaranteed job yet? But I took a leap of faith, and I moved to Austin anyway. I figured if I had overcome all of these obstacles, it was just going to be a matter of time until I find a solution. Because I have the mindset that if the door of opportunity is closed, I go through the window. And then in late January, upper-level management at General Motors decided to hire my company so that I could work as a contractor. And I am forever grateful for that opportunity. Now, the funny thing is that even though I was working for a car company, I still had to ride my bike to and from work. A few months after, however, I did get my paperwork from immigration and became a full-time employee. I even got the privilege to sit and wait happily at the DMV for over 2 hours just to get my driver's license. I quit that job at General Motors when I was 25 years old. I changed careers in 2015 to open up my own real estate team with my business partner. Now we help families achieve their dream of home ownership. We hire painters, plumbers, electricians. We have a full-time office manager. I am creating jobs for Americans, and I believe that DACA recipients are an asset to this country. On September 5th, 2017, this administration decided to resign the DACA program, and I felt devastated. But I was even more frustrated at what the then Attorney General said. He said that DACA denied jobs for hundreds of thousands of Americans by allowing those same jobs to go to illegal aliens. In that moment, I did something I've never done before and shared publicly on Facebook that I have DACA and that I am a dreamer. I shared my story and shared a picture of the taxes I paid in 2016 of over $28,000. I mentioned I didn't steal anybody's jobs because I earned them through hard work. Those nonprofits, small businesses, and even General Motors hired me because of the potential that they saw in me. I wrote that post to raise awareness of the opportunities that DACA gave me, just like it did the 800,000 DACA recipients we have today. That post went viral. Now, when something goes viral, you get people that support you, but you also get the haters. I got a lot of people saying how my story inspired them, but I also got people saying that I should be deported back to Peru, that I was still illegal and unwanted after all my accomplishments, and that if I was so smart, why didn't I apply for my citizenship? But instead of getting mad or irritated, I did my best to educate those people, to let them know that there is no way for us to get in line, because the line doesn't exist. I also shared that we are not freeloaders like many of them think. We pay taxes just like all Americans do. We contribute to our communities and to the economy. I am just one DACA story, and each of us has a unique story. I share it with you today because my dreams are bigger than my lack of papers. And yes, I have had a lot of obstacles in my life, but I've decided that through those obstacles, I have to be happy with the life that I have as I build the life of my dreams. There comes a point in our lives when we have to realize that we can either create excuses or pursue a life worth living. We cannot do both. One of my mentors, Hal Elrod, once said, "Focus on your vision, not your current circumstances." And that is how I've lived my entire life. We all have obstacles, but we do not have to let those obstacles define us. We do not have to be a victim to our circumstances. There comes a point in our lives that whenever we're faced with these challenges, we have to ask ourselves the right questions. And you might ask yourself, how do I do this, or how can I apply this in my life? And for all of us, it requires a mindset shift and to also change the meaning that we give our current situation. Because at the end of the day, we are the only ones that control the attitude and the definition that we give to that meaning of our situation. The next time you're faced with an obstacle or a challenge, let's ask ourselves the right questions, because there's two questions. Why is this happening to me, or why is this happening for me? And the one that you choose can drastically change the direction of your life. When you ask yourself, why is this happening to me, you automatically get the victim mentality, and you begin to blame others for your current situation. But if you ask yourself, why is this happening for me, you get the empowered mentality, and you begin to look for solutions rather than focusing on the problem. You become to get resourceful. The next time that you're faced with an obstacle or a challenge or something doesn't go your way, remember what Wayne Dyer said. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Will you choose to live an empowered life? The choice is yours. Thank you.